Most people spend their lives trying to escape pain. They distract themselves, they delay, they deny. They run in every direction except the one that leads straight through the fire. But what if I told you that the very thing you are avoiding is the exact thing that will transform you? Pain is not your enemy. It never was. It's a signal, a teacher, a test, and more importantly, a doorway. The moment you stop running from discomfort and choose to face it, something shifts inside you. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the architect of your strength. Think about it. Every time life got hard, your first instinct was probably to escape, to find comfort, to wait for things to get easier. But nothing great is built in comfort. Comfort keeps you stuck. Growth lies in discomfort. Growth lives in those sleepless nights, in those moments of doubt, in those situations where everything inside you is screaming to quit, but something deeper whispers, stay. That whisper is your power. And the more you listen to it, the louder it becomes. Pain is not there to break you. It's there to introduce you to a version of yourself you've never met before. But you will never meet that version if you keep running. You have to turn around, face it, and walk straight into it. It's not easy, and it's not supposed to be. Nobody said going through hell would feel comfortable. It burns. It tests your patience. It shakes your confidence. And sometimes it makes you question everything about yourself. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Avoiding pain doesn't make it disappear. It only makes it stronger. The longer you run, the bigger it grows, until one day it controls you. But when you stop, when you stand still and say, enough, when you decide that you are going to face whatever comes your way, you take your power back. You begin to realize that pain loses its control the moment you confront it. You start seeing challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to prove something to yourself. Not to the world, not to the critics, but to you. Because deep down, you already know what you're capable of. You've just been too afraid to test it. Pain forces you to test it. It strips away your excuses, your comfort zones, your limitations, and leaves you with nothing but truth. And that truth is this: you are stronger than you think. But you'll never believe it until you go through something that demands that strength from you. Every drop of sweat, every tear, every moment where you feel like you can't go on. That's where transformation is happening. Not on the outside where people can see it, but inside where it matters most. And the ones who succeed in life are not the ones who avoid pain, but the ones who learn how to walk through it without breaking. So stop asking for an easier life and start building a stronger mindset. Stop wishing for the pain to disappear and start asking yourself what it's trying to teach you. Because every struggle carries a lesson, and every lesson carries power. When you embrace pain instead of resisting it, you take control of your journey. You stop being afraid of failure because you understand that failure is just another form of growth. You stop being afraid of rejection because you realize it's just redirection. You stop being afraid of the unknown because you trust yourself enough to handle whatever comes your way. That's what happens when you stop running, you evolve. You rise, you become someone who doesn't break under pressure, but thrives in it. And one day you'll look back at the moments that once felt unbearable, and you'll realize they were necessary. They were shaping you, preparing you, building you into someone unstoppable. So whatever you're going through right now, don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't numb it. Face it. Feel it. Fight through it. Fight through it. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you that you can't even imagine yet. But you'll never meet them if you keep running. Keep going. Keep going. There are moments in life when it feels like everything is falling apart at once. Like the weight of the world has chosen your shoulders and refuses to lift. In those moments, it's easy to believe that this is how it will always be. That this pain, this struggle, this darkness is permanent. Your mind starts playing tricks on you, convincing you that you're stuck, that this is your reality now, that things don't get better from here. But that's the lie hardship wants you to believe. The truth is, nothing you are going through right now is permanent. No storm lasts forever. No night refuses to give way to morning. And yet, when you're in the middle of it, it feels endless. It feels like time has slowed down just to stretch your suffering. But think about every difficult moment you've ever faced before this one. At the time, it felt unbearable, didn't it? Is it? It felt like you wouldn't make it through. And yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still fighting. That alone is proof that hard times pass. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you become stronger. The situation didn't always change immediately. You did. You adapted, you endured, you pushed forward, even when it didn't make sense. And that's exactly what's happening now, even if you can't see it yet. What you're facing is temporary, but the strength you're building through it is permanent. The problem is, when people go through hell, they often stop moving, they sit in their pain, they analyze it, they question why it's happening to them, and they get stuck in a loop of doubt and fear. And the longer you stay still, the more permanent it starts to feel. But hard times are not meant to be lived in. They are meant to be walked through. You don't build your life inside the storm. You survive it by continuing to move forward, step by step, even when those steps feel heavy. You might not see the way out yet, and that's okay. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the next step. Because progress is what breaks the illusion of permanence. Every small action you take, every moment you refuse to give up, every time you choose to keep going despite how you feel, you are proving that this situation does not control you. You are proving that this situation does not control you. Pain will try to convince you to stop, to wait, to give up until things get better. But things don't get better by waiting. They get better by moving, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if it feels like you're barely making progress, you are still moving forward. And forward is the only direction that leads out of hell. You have to remind yourself again and again if you need to, that this is just a chapter, not the whole story. A chapter can be painful, it can be dark, it can test every part of you, but it will end. It always does. So, hold on. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Hold on because you owe it to yourself to see. What's on the other side of this? One day sooner than you think, this moment that feels so heavy right now will be something you look back on. And when you do, you won't just remember the pain, you'll remember how you made it through. You'll see the growth, the resilience, the strength that was being built inside you when you thought you were just surviving. And that's the shift. You're not just surviving this. You're becoming because of it. This is not where your story ends. This is not where your story ends. This is where your story is being written in a way that will make everything that comes next more meaningful, more powerful, more earned. So don't let a temporary storm convince you that you have a permanent struggle. Convince you that you have a permanent struggle. Don't let a difficult chapter make you forget the rest of your story is still waiting to be lived. Keep reminding yourself, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it feels, no matter how hard it feels, no matter how heavy the weight becomes, this will pass. And when it does, you won't just be the same person who walked into it. You'll be stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. Keep going, because this is not the end. There's something about pressure that most people misunderstand. There's something about pressure that most people misunderstand. They see it as something negative, something to avoid, something that signals things are going wrong. The moment life starts squeezing, when expectations rise, when challenges pile up, the instinct is to step back, to find relief, to escape the weight. But pressure is not your enemy. It's your reflection. It's the force that shapes you into something stronger, sharper, and more capable than you were before. Think about it. Nothing powerful is created without pressure. The strongest materials, the most resilient structures, the most unbreakable minds, they're all formed in environments where pressure is unavoidable. And right now, if you feel like life is pressing down on you from every angle, that's not a sign that you're failing. Instead, that's a sign that you're being shaped. The discomfort you feel is not there to destroy you. It's there to stretch you beyond your current limits. Because you don't grow when things are easy. You grow when things are easy. You grow when things demand more from you than you think you can give. Pressure forces you to adapt, to think differently, to act with intention, to discover strength you didn't even know existed within you. And yes, it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. Growth has never been comfortable. It's supposed to be. Growth has never been comfortable. But every time you choose to stand under that pressure, instead of running from it, you are becoming someone who can handle more, achieve more, and rise higher. The problem is, most people break under pressure not because they are weak, but because they don't understand it. They interpret pressure as a signal to quit instead of a signal to rise. They start doubting themselves, questioning their abilities, wondering if they're really built for this. But pressure doesn't come to test the weak. It comes to reveal the strong. It exposes what's inside you. It shows you your fears, your limits, your insecurities. But it also shows you your potential. And the moment you stop seeing pressure as something that's happening to you and start seeing it as something that's working for you, everything changes. Instead of resisting it, you begin to embrace it. Instead of shrinking, you expand. Instead of breaking, you build. Because here's the truth. Pressure only breaks what is unwilling to grow. If you lean into it, if you accept it, if you use it as fuel instead of fear, it will elevate you. It will force you to develop discipline when you don't feel like it. Focus when distractions are everywhere. Resilience when everything feels like it's falling apart. And those are the qualities that separate those who stay stuck from those who rise. You don't become strong by avoiding hard moments. You become strong by enduring them. By showing up when it's tough, by pushing when it hurts, by continuing when everything inside you says stop. That's what pressure is doing. It's training you, preparing you, forging you into someone who can handle not just this moment, but everything that comes next. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, the next time life feels heavy, the next time you're under so much pressure that it feels like you might crack, pause for a moment and shift your perspective. Remind yourself that this is not punishment. It's preparation. It's preparation. You are not being buried. You are being built. Every challenge, every demand, every expectation that feels like too much is actually an opportunity to become more focused, more disciplined, more resilient, more powerful. This is where your transformation happens. Not when everything is calm and easy, but right here in the middle of the pressure. And one day you will look back at this moment and realize that this was the turning point. This was the phase where you stopped doubting and started becoming, where you stopped fearing pressure and started using it. Where you stopped seeing yourself as someone who struggles and started seeing yourself as someone who rises. So don't run from the pressure. Stand in it. Breathe through it. Grow through it. Because it's not here to break you. It's here to build you into something unbreakable. There's a battle happening inside you right now, whether you realize it or not. It's not out there in the world, not in your circumstances, not in other people. It's in your mind. That's where the real fight begins. Because before anything happens in your life, it happens in your thoughts first. The way you think shapes the way you feel, and the way you feel shapes the way you act. And if your mind is filled with doubt, fear, negativity, and excuses, then it doesn't matter how many opportunities come your way, you will never fully step into them. Your mind can either be your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. It can build you up or tear you down. It can push you forward or hold you back. And the truth is, most people lose the battle before they even begin because they've already convinced themselves they can't win. They let negative thoughts take control. They listen to that voice that says, "You're not good enough. This is too hard. You'll probably fail anyway." And without even realizing it, they surrender. But here's what you need to understand. Those thoughts are not facts. They're just noise. They are conditioned patterns built from past experiences, fears, and insecurities. And just because a thought appears in your mind does not mean you have to accept it. The battlefield is inside your head, and the moment you become aware of that, you gain power. Because now you can choose which thoughts you feed and which ones you starve. The hardest part about this battle is that no one else can see it. People can see your actions, your results, your successes, your failures, but they can't see the war going on inside you. They can't hear the doubts you fight every day, the fears you try to silence, the moments where you question yourself. And because it's invisible, it's easy to ignore. It's easy to pretend it's not there, to distract yourself, to push it aside. But ignoring the battle doesn't make it disappear. It just gives it more control. If you don't take charge of your mind will take charge of you. And that's when you start sabotaging yourself without even realizing it. You procrastinate, not because you're lazy, but because your mind is filled with fear. You hesitate, not because you're incapable, but because your thoughts are filled with doubt. You quit, not because you're weak, but because your inner voice has convinced you that continuing is pointless, But what if you flip that? What if instead of letting your mind control you, you started controlling your mind? What if you became aware of every negative thought and challenged it? What if every time your mind said, "I can't," you responded with, "I will try"? What if every time fear showed up, you decided to act anyway? That's how you start winning. Not by eliminating negative thoughts completely, That's impossible. But by refusing to let them dictate your actions. Strength is not the absence of doubt. It's the decision to move forward despite it. And every time you do that, you weaken the grip those thoughts have on you. So understand this clearly. Your greatest opponent is not your situation, not your fast, not other people. It's the version of you that believes you can't do it. And that's the version you have to defeat every single day. You have to train your mind like you would train your body. You have to discipline it, challenge it, strengthen it, because a weak mind will break under pressure, but a strong mind will rise through it. When things get hard, your mind will try to find an escape. It will tell you to quit, to take the easy way out, to avoid the discomfort. That's the moment the battle intensifies. That's the moment that defines everything. Because if you can win in your mind, you can win anywhere. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your actions. And if you can control your actions, you can change your life. It all starts inside. So stop underestimating the power of your mindset. Stop letting negative thoughts run unchecked. Stop letting negative thoughts run unchecked. Become aware, become intentional, become disciplined in the way you think. Because once you master your mind, nothing outside of you can defeat you. Win the battle within and the rest will follow. Most people wait to feel ready before they take action. They wait for motivation to show up for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, the perfect energy. They tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it when I feel better, or I just need the right mindset first. But the truth is, that moment rarely comes. Motivation is unreliable. It's inconsistent. It comes and goes like a wave, and if your progress depends on it, then your progress will always be unstable. Some days you'll feel unstable. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. And on other days, you won't even feel like getting out of bed. If you only move when you feel good, you'll never reach your full potential. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. It's the ability to act even when your emotions are pulling you in the opposite direction. It's waking up when you don't feel like it. Working when you're tired. Pushing forward when everything inside you is asking you to stop. And that's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who grow. One relies on feelings, the other relies on commitment. Feelings are temporary. Discipline is a decision. And the moment you understand that you don't need to feel motivated to take action, you unlock a whole new level of control over your life. Because let's be honest, there are going to be many days when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done. Days when you're exhausted, when you're discouraged, when progress feels slow, when results aren't showing up, when everything feels heavier than usual. Those are the days that matter the most. Anyone can show up when they feel inspired. Anyone can work when they're excited, but not everyone can show up when they feel nothing. Not everyone can keep going when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's uncomfortable. That's where discipline separates you. It's not about being perfect. It's not about always having high energy or constant confidence. It's about consistency. It's about consistency. It's about doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel in that moment. Because every time you choose discipline over emotion, you're reinforcing a powerful identity. You're becoming someone who follows through. Someone who doesn't quit just because it's difficult. Someone who doesn't make excuses based on temporary feelings. And over time, that builds momentum. Small actions, repeated consistently, create massive results. Not overnight, not instantly, but steadily. And the more you rely on discipline, the less control your emotions have over you. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop waiting and start doing. And that shift changes everything. So stop negotiating with your feelings. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like it today? And start telling yourself, it needs to be done, so I'm going to do it. Build routines that don't depend on your... Create habits that run even when motivation is low. Because discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build, one decision at a time. Every time you choose to act instead of delay. Every time you push through instead of giving up. Every time you stay consistent instead of stopping. You're strengthening that muscle. And yes, it's hard at first. It feels unnatural. It feels uncomfortable. But that's the point. Growth always feels uncomfortable in the beginning. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes. The more automatic it becomes. Until one day you don't even question it anymore. You just do what needs to be done. And that's when you become unstoppable. Not because you're always motivated. Not because you always feel good, but because you have trained yourself to move regardless. That's power. That's control. That's how you push through hell and come out stronger on the other side. Don't wait to feel ready. Decide, act, and let discipline carry you forward. Fail. Fear has a way of hitting you harder than anything else. It doesn't just challenge your plans, it challenges your belief in yourself. It makes you question your abilities, your decisions, even your worth. In those moments, it feels like everything you worked for has collapsed, like all your effort led to nothing. And that's why so many people fear failure. Not because of the event itself, but because of what they make it mean. They see it as proof that they're not good enough, that they don't have what it takes, that maybe they should stop trying altogether. But that interpretation is what destroys them, not the failure. Because failure, in its raw form, is not defeat. It's information, it's feedback, it's a lesson wrapped in discomfort. Every time you fail, something is being revealed to you. Something you didn't know before. Something you couldn't have learned any other way. It shows you what doesn't work, where you need to improve, what needs to change. What needs to change. But if you're too busy labeling it as a loss, you miss the lesson completely. And when you miss the lesson, you repeat the mistake. That's the real loss. Not failing, but refusing to learn from it. Because the people who eventually succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail, learn, adjust, and try again with more awareness than before. The truth is, failure is part of the process, whether you like it or not. There is no path to growth that doesn't include it. Every skill you've ever developed, every improvement you've ever made, came from getting something wrong first. You didn't start off perfect. You learned through trial, error, correction, and persistence. But somewhere along the way, you started fearing that process. You started expecting yourself to get things right the first time, to avoid mistakes, to protect yourself from the discomfort of failing. And that's where you limit your potential. Because when you avoid failure, you also avoid growth. You stay in your comfort zone doing only what feels safe, what feels guaranteed, what doesn't risk your ego. But nothing extraordinary comes from playing it safe. The real progress happens when you step into uncertainty, when you try something that might not work, when you risk failing and choose to do it anyway. And yes, you will fall. You will mess up. You will have moments where things don't go as planned. You will have moments where things don't go as planned. But those moments are not the end of your journey. They are the training ground. They are shaping your resilience, sharpening your mindset, building your ability to handle setbacks without breaking. Every failure strengthens you if you let it. It forces you to become more patient, more disciplined, more focused. It teaches you how to adapt, how to think differently, how to approach problems with new strategies. And most importantly, it teaches you that you can survive it. That failing doesn't destroy you, it refines you. So the next time you fail, don't let it define you. Let it develop you. Don't sit there and tell yourself that you lost. Ask yourself what you learned. What can you do better next time? What did this experience show you that you didn't see before? Shift your perspective from why did this happen to me to what is this trying to teach me? Because that question changes everything. It puts you back in control. It turns a negative experience into a powerful tool for growth. And when you start seeing failure that way, you stop fearing it. You start embracing it. You start using it as a stepping stone instead of a stopping point. That's when you become unstoppable. Because now, no matter what happens, you gain something. Either you succeed or you learn. And both outcomes move you forward. That's the mindset that separates those who quit from those who rise. They don't avoid failure. They use it. They don't run from mistakes. They don't run from them. They don't let setbacks break them. They don't let them. So don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of staying the same because you were too scared to try. Take the risk. Make the move fall if you have to. But get back up with more knowledge, more strength, and more determination than before. Because failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. There will be moments on this journey where everything inside you slows down. Not because you've given up, not because you've lost your vision, but because the weight you're carrying feels heavier than usual. Progress doesn't always look powerful. Word for work. Sometimes it looks quiet. Sometimes it looks like showing up when no one is watching. Taking one small step when you don't have the energy for 10. Choosing not to quit even when quitting would feel easier. And in those moments, it's easy to underestimate what you're doing. It's easy to think this isn't enough or I should be further ahead or maybe I'm not built for this. But that's the illusion that stops people. They think progress only counts when it's fast, visible, and impressive. Visible and impressive. Visible and impressive. They forget that the strongest foundations are built slowly, layer by layer, step by step. You don't need to move fast, you just need to keep moving. Because the moment you stop completely, that's when doubt takes over. That's when fear grows louder. That's when fear grows louder. That's when the distance between where you are and where you want to be starts to feel impossible. But when you keep moving, even if it's just a little, you stay in control. You remind yourself that you are still in the fight. And that matters more than speed ever will. The truth is, consistency beats intensity every single time. Anyone can push hard for a day, a week, even a month when they're feeling motivated. But not everyone can keep going when progress is slow, when results are dull. When the excitement fades and all that's left is effort, that's where most people stop. Not because they can't continue, but because they lose patience. They want quick results, instant validation, visible success, and when they don't see it, they assume it's not working. But growth doesn't always show itself immediately. Sometimes it's happening beneath the surface, quietly building, strengthening, preparing you for a breakthrough that hasn't arrived yet. Think about it like this. If you plant a seed today, you won't see a tree tomorrow. You won't even see it next week. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Beneath the ground, roots are forming. Strength is developing. A foundation is being built that will eventually support something powerful. And your journey is no different. Every small action you take, every effort you make, every time you choose to keep going instead of stopping, you're building something. You may not see it yet, but it's there. And one day, all those small steps will add up to something undeniable. But only if you keep going. Only if you trust the process enough to continue, even when it feels slow. So stop measuring your progress by how fast you're moving and start measuring it by the fact that you haven't stopped. Stop comparing your pace to someone else's highlight reel and focus on your own path. Because this is your journey, and it will unfold in its own time. There will be days when you feel strong and unstoppable, and there will be days when all you can do is take one step forward. Both days count. Both days matter. Because what truly defines you is not how fast you move when things are easy, but whether you keep moving when things are hard. That's where your character is built. That's where your resilience is tested. And that's where your future is decided. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to see the entire path. You just need to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, even if it feels like you're barely moving at all. Because forward is forward, no matter how small the step. And as long as you refuse to stop, as long as you keep pushing, as long as you stay in motion, you are getting closer. Closer to your goals, closer to your growth, closer to the person you're meant to become. So don't stop. Not now, not here, not when you've already come this far. Keep going. There is something about pain that strips everything down to the truth. When life is easy, when things are going your way, it's simple to feel confident, to feel strong, to believe in yourself. But those moments don't truly define you. They don't test you. They don't reveal who you are at your core. It's when things fall apart, when the pressure builds, when you're pushed into situations you never asked for. That's when your true character begins to show. Because pain doesn't just challenge your circumstances. It challenges your identity. It asks you questions that comfort never will. Who are you when things get hard? Who are you when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one is clapping, when no one is supporting you? Do you break or do you bend and rise? Do you give in or do you push forward even when it feels impossible? These are the moments that define you. Not the easy wins, not the comfortable days, but the struggles that force you to look within. Pain exposes everything. The excuses you hide behind, the fears you try to ignore, the limits you placed on yourself. But it also reveals something far more powerful. It reveals your potential. Because within that struggle, within that discomfort, there is a version of you waiting to rise. A version that is stronger, braver, and more resilient than you've ever been before. The truth is, you don't know who you are until life tests you. It's easy to say you're strong, but strength is proven when you're on the edge of giving up and you decide to keep going anyway. It's easy to say you're disciplined, but discipline is revealed when you show up on the days you don't feel like it. It's easy to say you believe in yourself, but belief is tested when everything around you is falling apart and you still choose to trust your path. Pain is the mirror that shows you all of this. It forces you to confront yourself in a way nothing else can. And yes, that can be uncomfortable. It can be overwhelming. Because sometimes what you see in that mirror isn't who you thought you were. You might see doubt, fear, hesitation, weakness. But that's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of growth. Because once you see it, you can change it. Once you become aware of your limits, you can push beyond them. Once you face your fears, you can start to overcome them. Pain doesn't just reveal your character. It gives you the opportunity to build it. Every difficult moment is a chance to choose who you want to be. You can choose to stay where you are, to let the struggle define you in a negative way, or you can choose to rise, to grow, to become stronger because of it. And that choice, repeated over time, is what shapes your identity. So don't run from the moments that challenge you. Don't avoid the situations that push you out of your comfort zone, because those are the moments that are shaping you into who you're meant to become. Embrace the discomfort, not because it feels good, but because it's necessary. Understand that every struggle you face is revealing something within you, something you need to see, something you need to strengthen, something you need to strengthen, something you need to transform. And the more you lean into that process, the more you grow into someone who doesn't just survive hard times, but thrives in them. Someone who doesn't fear pain, but uses it as a tool for growth. Someone whose character is not defined by ease, but by resilience, courage, and determination. Because at the end of the day, it's not what happens to you that defines you. It's how you respond to it. And when you choose to respond with strength, with persistence, with an unbreakable mindset, you become unstoppable. So let the pain reveal you. Let it refine you. Let it build you into someone stronger than you ever thought possible. There are moments in life when you feel like you've reached your limit, like you've given everything you have and there's nothing left. Your energy is drained, your mind is tired, your motivation is gone, and all you can think about is stop it. In those moments, it's easy to believe that you're not strong enough, that maybe this is where your journey ends, that maybe you've pushed as far as you possibly can. But that feeling is not the truth. It's just a signal that you're being stretched beyond what feels comfortable, beyond what feels familiar. And most people misinterpret that signal. They think it means stop, when in reality it often means you're closer than you think. When in reality it often means you're closer than you think. Because your mind is designed to protect you, not to push you to your highest potential. It wants safety. It wants comfort. I want certainty. So the moment things get difficult, it starts sending you warnings, telling you to slow down, to back off, to quit before things get worse. But if you always listen to that voice, you will never discover how strong you truly are. You will never go beyond the limits you've unconsciously set for yourself. The truth is, you are capable of far more than you believe. But you will only realize that when you push past the point where your mind tells you to stop. Think about everything you've already survived. Think about everything you've already survived. Every challenge, every setback, every moment that felt impossible at the time. You made it through all that. There were days when you thought you couldn't handle it. Nights when you felt overwhelmed, situations that pushed you to your edge. And yet you're still here. That alone is proof of your strength. Not the kind of strength that's loud or obvious, but the kind that endures. The kind that keeps going, even when it doesn't feel strong. The kind that shows up again and again, even after being knocked down. But here's the thing, you've only seen a fraction of what you're capable of. Because most of the time you stop when it starts to hurt, when it starts to feel uncomfortable, when it starts to feel too difficult. And that's exactly where your growth begins. That's where the real strength is built. Not in the easy moments, not when everything is going smoothly, but in those moments where you have every reason to quit and you choose not to. Every time you push through that resistance, every time you take one more step when you feel like stopping, you are expanding your limits. You are proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. And that realization is powerful. Because once you truly understand that your limits are not fixed, that they can be pushed, stretched, and redefined, you stop being controlled by them. You stop seeing yourself as someone who can't and start seeing yourself as someone who can't figure it out. So the next time you feel like you've reached your breaking point, pause for a moment and remind yourself of this. You've been here before, and you made it through. And you made it through. That feeling of I can't go on is not new. And every time you felt it, you found a way to keep going. There is a strength inside you that you haven't fully tapped into yet. A resilience that hasn't been fully tested. A level of determination that is still waiting to be unleashed. But it only shows up when you need it, when you're pushed, when you're challenged, when you're on the edge. That's where you discover who you really are. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Not when you feel strong, but when you feel weak and choose to continue anyway. That's real strength. And the more you lean into that, the more you trust yourself in those moments, the more unstoppable you become. Because now, no matter what life throws at you, you know you can handle it. Not because it will be easy, not because it won't hurt, but because you built the mindset to endure it. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't doubt your ability to push through. You are stronger than you think, and it's time you start acting like it. Every struggle you face, every setback, every rejection, and every moment of pain carries with it a choice. You can let it weigh you down, leave you bitter, or paralyzed by fear, or you can turn it into fuel. Energy that drives you forward, power that pushes you beyond what you thought was possible. Most people make the mistake of seeing hardship as something to avoid, something to complain about, something that slows them down. They let frustration, anger, or despair take over, and before long, those very struggles become the chains that hold them back. But the truth is, struggle is not your enemy. Pain is not. Your punishment. Hardship is not a roadblock. It's a resource. And the difference between those who rise and the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is simple. Those who rise learn to harness that energy, to take everything that tries to stop them and use it to propel themselves further. The fire that threatens to burn you down can also be the fire that lights your way forward, but only if you decide to channel it the right way. Every rejection, every failure, every obstacle is an opportunity to gain momentum. It's not just about surviving it, it's about transforming it into strength. Think about it. Every great person you admire has faced challenges that could have destroyed them. Every visionary, every athlete, every leader, every entrepreneur has stared at a moment of defeat and decided to turn it into fuel instead of fear. The pain they felt, the hardships they endured, became the energy that pushed them to rise higher, to work harder, to focus sharper, to innovate beyond limits. They didn't wait for life to become easier. They used the struggle to become stronger. And that is a lesson that applies to every single one of us. The pain you feel right now is not meaningless. The obstacles in your path are not coincidences. The obstacles in your path are not coincidences. They are tests, but they are also tools. They are lessons in resilience, in perseverance, in courage, and in tenacity. Every time you feel the weight of life pressing down on you, you have a choice: succumb to it or convert it into something greater. That's the power of mindset. That's the power of deciding that nothing will defeat you. Not loss, not failure, not rejection, not criticism. Everything that comes at you can either break you or fuel you, and the choice is yours. When you choose to let it fuel you, nothing can stop your forward momentum. And the process of turning struggle into fuel is not always easy. It requires awareness, patience, and persistence. You must first acknowledge the struggle, fully feel it and understand it. Denial or suppression only buries the energy that could have propelled you. Then you must decide to extract value from it, to see the lesson, to see the opportunity, to see the ways it can make you stronger, wiser, or more capable. Then comes action, taking that energy and applying it toward your goals. Toward growth, toward progress. Every failure becomes a teacher. Every criticism becomes motivation. Every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. And over time, this practice builds a person who doesn't just endure hardship, but thrives in it. Someone who doesn't complain about life's difficulties, but uses them to sharpen their skills, to strengthen their resolve, to expand their limits. That's how leaders are made, champions are forged, and dreams are forged, and dreams are realized. Struggle becomes the fuel for greatness, and hardship becomes a training ground for an unbreakable spirit. So when life pushes against you, when it knocks you down, when it seems impossible, remember this: your struggles are not your enemy. They are your fuel. Harness them, channel them, use them. Let them drive you forward. and you will rise stronger than ever before. No one is coming to save you. That's a hard truth, and it's one most people try to avoid thinking about. We like the idea that someone else will step in, that circumstances will change magically, that help will appear just when we need it. We wait for that rescue, and in waiting we lose precious time, energy, and opportunities. Life doesn't hand out victories to those who sit and hope. It rewards those who act, those who decide that their future is in their own hands. You might have mentors, guides, or supporters, but at the end of the day, the responsibility for your life is yours, and yours alone. No one else can fight your battles for you. No one else can walk through your strat. Uglis, make your decisions or push past your limits. That's not to say you're alone, but it does mean that your breakthrough depends on you. Not on luck, not on fate, not on someone else's intervention. The sooner you accept that reality, the sooner you take control. Because the moment you stop waiting for a savior and start acting for yourself, everything changes. Everything changes. That moment is when empowerment begins, when responsibility transforms into freedom, and when action becomes unstoppable. Think about it. Every time you've accomplished something meaningful in your life, it wasn't because someone else made it happen for you. You didn't grow stronger because life bent to your will. It happened because you decided to take charge. Even when it was hard, you showed up when no one else was watching. You put into work when motivation was low. You push forward when the past seemed impossible. That is the essence of taking control, understanding that you are the one responsible for your success, your growth, and your survival. Waiting for someone to intervene is a trap. It keeps you passive. It keeps you passive. It keeps you dependent. It keeps you small. But stepping up, owning your circumstances, and committing to doing whatever it takes, that is liberation. It's the point where you realize that your power doesn't lie in others. It lies in your actions, your mindset, your resilience, and your willingness to endure when no one else will. And the moment you fully embrace that, fear loses its grip. Excuses lose their appeal. And hesitation becomes irrelevant. You are the one driving the narrative of your life. And that realization alone is enough to ignite unstoppable momentum. But owning your responsibility is more than just deciding to act. It's committing to the process, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful. No matter how painful, no matter how lonely it feels. There will be times when you feel like giving up. Times when the weight of the world feels unbearable. Times when the challenges seem bigger than you can handle. And that is exactly when you must remember, no one is coming to save you. That is not a threat. It is an opportunity. It is an opportunity. It is a moment that calls for courage, resilience, and determination. Because this is where true strength is forged. You are the hero of your own story, the one who decides whether the struggles you face will defeat you or define you. Every choice you make, every step you take, every effort you put in counts. Your future is a direct result of your willingness to act when others won't, to push when others pause, to fight when others pause, to fight when others surrender. And when you live by that principle, you discover a power that no one can take from you. A power rooted not in luck or circumstance, but in your commitment to yourself. So stop waiting for a miracle. Stop hoping for an easy way out and start acting. Step up, own it, fight for it, and you will realize that you have everything you need within you to overcome, to rise, and to become unstoppable. When you are going through hell, it feels endless. Every step is heavy, every breath seems to cost more than it should, and every day feels like a test designed just to break you. In those moments, your instinct is to stop, to sit down, to give up, to let the pain win. The mind whispers, this is too much. And the heart echoes it with every ounce of fear and doubt it carries. But here's the truth that most people never fully grasp. The only way out is through. There is no shortcut, no escape hatch, no bypass around the fire. You can't wait for circumstances to change. You can't wait for someone else to solve your problems. You have to keep moving, one step at a time, no matter how heavy the weight feels, no matter how dark it gets, no matter how dark it gets, no matter how impossible it seems. That persistence, that refusal to stop is what separates those who rise from those who crumble. Every moment you resist quitting, every moment you choose to keep going, you are carving a path through the chaos. And it is that path that will lead you to the other side. A stronger, wiser, more resilient version of yourself. The reason most people fail when they are in the midst of extreme difficulty is that they underestimate the power of endurance. They believe that progress has to be visible, that results must appear immediately, that relief must come quickly. But life doesn't work that way. But life doesn't work that way. Transformation happens quietly behind the scenes, in the moments no one sees. Every tear, every struggle, every night spent questioning yourself is molding you into someone unbreakable. The challenge is learning to trust that process even when it feels invisible. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, everything is happening. Your character is being forged, your mindset is being strengthened, and your spirit is being prepared for what lies ahead. The fire that seems designed to destroy you is actually shaping you, and the only way to benefit from it is to keep moving forward. One step at a time, even if those steps are slow, even if they are small, even if they barely feel like progress. Each one counts. Every step is proof that you refuse to be defeated, that you refuse to surrender, that you are choosing to fight for your life, your dreams, your future. So whatever you are facing right now, whatever hell you are going through, hear this. Do not stop. Do not give in to the pain, the fear, the frustration, the doubt. Keep pushing, keep moving, keep fighting. Because every step brings you closer to victory. You are stronger than the obstacles, tougher than the pain, and more capable than your fears would have you believe. The moment you keep going when everything inside you wants to quit, that is the moment you begin to transform. That is the moment the hell you are in becomes the source of your power. And when you finally emerge on the other side, you will not just have survived, you will have conquered, you will have grown, and you will have become unstoppable. So whatever comes, whatever tries to stop you, whatever feels unbearable, remember this. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Look, life doesn't owe you comfort, it doesn't owe you fairness, it doesn't owe you ease, and that's the hard part, but it's also the truth that most people fail to accept. You are going to face storms, you are going to encounter obstacles that feel insurmountable. You are going to be tested in ways you never imagined possible. And in those moments, it will feel easier to quit, to step back, to give in. But here's the thing, giving up guarantees defeat. Stopping ensures that nothing changes. If you surrender to the weight of your struggles, if you allow fear, doubt, or exhaustion to dictate your path, then you will never discover the power that lives inside you. Every challenge, every pain, every rejection, every failure, every sleepless night, every heavy step is not there to break you, it's there to teach you. It's there to test you. It's there to reveal to you the extraordinary strength you already carry within your own body, mind, and spirit. Pain is not your enemy. Discomfort is not your enemy. Discomfort is not your punishment. Struggle is not a curse. These are the tools of growth, the forge in which your courage is tempered, the fire in which your resilience is hardened. And if you can learn to see it that way, then the impossible begins to look possible. The moments that feel unbearable become the milestones that define your legacy. The very circumstances that seem to be holding you down are actually lifting you up in ways you cannot yet see. Because here is the unshakable truth. Every time life tries to knock you down, you have a choice. You can stay on the ground and accept defeat, letting the world decide your fate for you, or you can rise. You can push through. You can fight. You can dig deeper than you ever thought possible and find a reservoir of strength that no one can take from you. A determination that cannot be crushed, a courage that cannot be extinguished. Those who achieve greatness, those who leave a mark on the world, those who rise above their circumstances, they're not the ones who never struggled. They're not the ones who were untouched by pain, untouched by doubt, untouched by fear. They're the ones who faced every difficulty, every obstacle, every moment that screamed, quit. And they said, not today. I will keep going. They used pressure to sharpen their focus. They used failure to teach them wisdom. They used pain to reveal their character. And they used every challenge as fuel to propel themselves forward. And that is exactly what you are capable of. You have more strength than you know, more resilience than you know, more courage than you have ever admitted to yourself. You are built for this. You are capable of walking through your hell, of enduring the fire, of rising through the pressure, and of emerging stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. On the other side, it won't be easy. Nothing worth achieving ever is. The journey will push you to your limits. It will test your patience. It will make you question yourself. It will make you doubt whether you can continue. But that is the moment that defines you. That is the moment when the weak fall away, when excuses lose their power, and when the strong are revealed. You will not be defined by the hardships you face, but by how you respond to them. You will not be measured by how many times you are knocked down, but by how many times you get back up. but by how many times you get back up. Every small step forward, every moment you refuse to quit, every decision you make to keep moving, no matter how heavy or difficult it feels, is a declaration. I am stronger than my struggles. I am more powerful than my fears. I am more powerful than my fears. I will not be broken. That is the mindset that carries you through the darkest moments. That turns pain into power, fear into fuel, and struggle into a stepping stone toward the life you are capable of living. And make no mistake, the hell you are going through is temporary, but the strength you build while walking through it is permanent. The lessons you learn, the endurance you develop, the character you cultivate, it will last far beyond this moment. You will carry them into every challenge, every opportunity, every battle you face in the future. And when you look back years from now, when the memories of these struggles are still vivid, you will realize that they were necessary. They were preparing you for the life you were meant to live, for the power you were meant to live, for the power you were meant to unleash, for the legacy you were destined to create. The storms were not there to stop you. They were there to shape you. The obstacles were not there to defeat you. They were there to test you. The pain was not there to destroy you. It was there to reveal to you the strength you have always carried inside you have always carried inside. So stop waiting for someone to rescue you. Stop hoping that life will suddenly become easier or that the universe will hand you a miracle. No one is coming to save you. You are the one you have been waiting for. You are the one who must rise, who must fight, who must endure, who must act. Who must endure, who must act. Your breakthrough depends on your willingness to take ownership of your life, to step up when no one else will, and to refuse to stop no matter what. That is where empowerment lives. That is where true freedom begins. That is where true freedom begins. That is where unstoppable people are born. You don't need permission, you don't need approval, and you don't need a guarantee. You only need yourself, your courage, your persistence, and your decision to keep moving forward. Every step you take through the fire strengthens you. Every time you refuse to quit reinforces your resilience. Every challenge you face and overcome builds an unshakable foundation that no circumstance can ever topple. And as you walk through this hell, remember that progress does not have to be fast, visible, or dramatic. Even the smallest steps, repeated consistently, carry you forward. Even the tiniest victories, the quietest acts of endurance, the moments when you simply refuse to give in are monumental. They are proof that you are still standing, that you are still fighting, and that you are becoming more powerful with every pass. Inching moment, you are transforming pain into purpose, struggle into strength, and adversity into advantage. You are taking the fire that threatens to consume you and using it to light your own way. And one day, the weight that feels unbearable now will be nothing but the fuel that launched you higher than you ever imagined. The very hell you are walking through will be the foundation of your triumph, the fire of your transformation, the proof that nothing can stop the determined spirit. So when the darkness feels endless, when the pressure seems unbearable, when the fear and doubt scream louder than ever, keep going. Don't stop. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't look for an easy path or a way out. Keep walking through it because that is the only way to emerge on the other side. Keep rising, keep fighting, keep enduring, and keep transforming. Let every step, every challenge, every painful moment become the fuel that propels you forward. The fire you are walking through is building you into something unbreakable. The struggle you are facing is preparing you for greatness. The pain you are enduring is unlocking the power within you. And the moment you decide to never stop, never surrender, and never quit, that is the moment you claim your victory. That is the moment you prove not to anyone else but to yourself that you are unstoppable, that you are stronger than your struggles, that you are capable of walking through hell and coming out not only alive but transformed, empowered, and ready to rise higher than ever before. So rise. So rise. Walk through the fire. Endure the pain. Embrace the struggle. Use it. Learn from it. Fuel yourself with it. And never ever stop moving forward, because the only way out of hell is through and on the other side. The strongest version of yourself is waiting.